Premier Lanes Entertainment Center in Gonzales, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you the Oxnard LHSAA Bowling Championships. This afternoon, it's the boys co-ed Division I state championship match between the Denham Springs Yellow Jackets and the Brother Martin Crusaders. And a pleasant good afternoon. Welcome back to Gonzales. Ken Trahan along with Lenny Van Gilder from CrescentCitySports.com. We thank Todd and Matt, our crew here, doing a great job here again today for being with us too, and we thank you for being with us. Well, of course, we have reached the finale of the team competition. Singles tomorrow, but the team competition, the last event is the co-ed Division I championship to be decided here on the LHSAA level. And again, it's the 6th seed Brother Martin, the 5th seed Denham Springs. They have familiarity, having contested each other in the not-too-distant past here in the playoffs, and they do so again here today for a state championship. Of course, the story for Brother Martin is simple. They have won 6 of the last 7 state championships decided in Louisiana. Had a COVID year that interrupted things rudely, but the Crusaders have been the dominant program in Louisiana. And Lenny, they've done it with a lot of different faces. They've had changes over several years. The one constant has been the coach, Bruce Himbert, who has been there all along and has shepherded this team, and you see them get better from start to finish every year, and that was the case again this year.
I think that was certainly the case. Brother Martin, it took a little while for the season to get started based on schedule, and early in the year in Louisiana, we had a lot of postponements for a variety of reasons, and Brother Martin started, I think, probably as late as anyone did, and then the first match of the year, a loss to Holy Cross. And since then, it's been 14 consecutive wins. And it was a similar story a year ago, if you remember. They lost an early match to Jesuit and then ran the table from there. And the toughest test along the way last year was a quarterfinal win over Denham Springs. You mentioned, the familiarity. These teams actually met twice last year, once in the regular season and then once in the playoffs. The regular season match was here at Premier, and it was a Brother Martin blowout. But that quarterfinal match was extraordinary. It was 12-4 Denham going to the last game with a big lead in total pins, and Brother Martin overtook that lead and won 7 of 8 points in the final game to come back and win the match. And you get tested on the way at least once. We've seen it so many times through this run of state championships, as Brother Martin has won 5 in a row, a record 7 state titles. And they've won 28 consecutive playoff matches going all the way back to 2017. So not all of those have been easy by any means. And, you look at this year, it was 17-10. It was 17-10. And earlier today, a 19.5, 7.5 that was much closer than the final score indicated. As we take a look at the bracket and how we got here, Ken, you see that Denham Springs was a winner over Slidell earlier today, 17-10. We mentioned a Brother Martin win over their district rival and New Orleans region rival Archbishop Rummel for the second time this year. Rummel had to knock out Jesuit in the quarterfinals to get here. And you go back to the quarterfinals. That Denham Springs-Alexandria match is one of the most extraordinary ones I've seen. It was 14-13 Denham Springs, but it was filled with drama in that you had a situation where Denham's number 3 bowler, Cooper Bush, got up, needed to throw a strike to win the match, left the 4-pin, but all of a sudden it was quickly realized he had bowled on the wrong lane. And by rule, you rethrow the shot on the other lane. And he got up and struck and won the match. Otherwise, we might have had, there was a possibility of a tie and what would be a 1-game roll-off had that happened. So that was a lot of drama there. We'll see how this one plays out here today. One thing you notice an absence of, especially as we got to the semifinals, is any high seeds. 1, 2, 3, and 4 all got knocked out in the early rounds, and they all quickly had their seasons come to an end, maybe long before they wanted to, hoping to be able to get here as one of those high seeds.
Well, Denham Springs coming into this match 14-1 on the season, under the direction of Adam White. Kim Bogan taking care of business for them, and when he talked about how they got here, talked about the familiarity with these two programs. Their girls program has been terrific over an extended period of time. So there are the quote-unquote bowling schools, and this certainly would qualify as 2 of those.
Oh, certainly. And look, while this is the first time that the Denham boys have made it to a semifinal since 2008, you got to go back They were a dominant, one of the dominant programs in the early days. We talked about that with Archbishop Shaw. This is one of the flagship programs that kind of helped start Louisiana high school bowling. They got one regular season loss this year. It was to their rival East Ascension back on January the 25th, and they've strung off 13 in a row since. So a similar path to Denham's season, perhaps, as to what Brother Martin encountered.
What we've seen watching two finals already is that you have the ability to score on this condition, but it does change. There is transition that's taking place. They do re-oil the lanes between the two finals, so there's that. But what will happen is you'll see some players might be lined up really well early, but then they'll struggle, and others might struggle early, and then they'll find it. It's all about who can make the adjustment quickest and who has the right equipment and the right projection down the lane. Then there's carry percentage, because lane 25 has been somewhat tough to carry on. We've seen that for the first two championships, and had that discussion with Bruce Himbert earlier, and he said the same thing to me. He said, have you noticed the difference on 25? I said, absolutely. It's the rack and it's the carry percentage, so that's something to watch too as we progress. But again, ultimately spear making is so big. And one of the things that impresses most about Brother Martin is their ability to make spears. One of the things that impresses most about Denham Springs is they don't have a great bowler, anybody that shoots big scores in terms of average, but they have a bunch of 190 bowlers that are going to make you beat them. I mean, they've got a lot of people that can bowl well. Yeah,
they've got some depth in this lineup. Basically, of the 10 people or 11 people on their roster, 10 of them average 170 or higher. Mm-hmm. So, and it's similar story on the other side, but it's not. You don't have the high averages. Brother Martin's got 4 200 average bowlers. They've got 7 bowlers qualified for singles tomorrow, which is the most of any boys team in the state. And Denham's got, I believe Denham's got 6 qualified. They've got 4 qualified. But there's not a lot of difference there between 6'5", 4'3". Tyler Davis at 6 at 198. Brady Knoll and John Eakey both at 194. Cooper Bush at 192. So not a lot of difference there.
Denham Springs, an experienced team. 3 seniors in the starting lineup today. Brother Martin just won, so there is an experience factor here for Brother Martin. We saw that earlier from Archbishop Shaw, which is an experienced, talented team, and Archbishop Shaw, by the way, the highest scoring team in the state. They're really good, and they showed it in the Division II state championship earlier today. Once again, congratulations to the Eagles for winning the first ever Division II state championship. For those that aren't aware, they added Division II this year for the first time, which again is an indication of the growth of the sport, how it's being perceived, and how schools are reacting to it. It's a great sport to participate in. It's indoors. You don't need huge numbers, and whether or not you're really good, average, or not so good, you can compete, as we see all the time with the region we cover in the New Orleans region, with teams from all flavors.
Before we get started with the match, people tuning in for the first time, let's just explain to how this is scored. It's a 27-point format, so the magic number is 14. That's what you need to win. And of the 27 points, 18 are individually scored. 6 players bowling 3 games each. 2 points per game for team total pins, and then 3 points for the super total. So a lot of ways to get to 14. And that's all it takes. As we found out when these teams met in the quarterfinals a year ago, it was 14-13. So, and again, the order of the lineup is determined by season averages. Postseason doesn't come into play. It's just your regular season average. And what's interesting with these two teams, Ken, both teams at number 4 and number 5, their second and third highest average bowlers are the same. So the coaches have a choice of how they want to line up. Now, Brother Martin will put Bo Buffkin at 4, Sam Vollenweider at 5, as they've done here the last couple of matches. Denham Springs actually flip-flopping what they did this morning, and they had Brady Null at 4, John Eakey at 5. This morning it will be Eakey at 4 and Null at 5 for the match here this afternoon.
So practice has concluded. Lines have been turned off, and we're just about set to get things started here for the LHSAA Division I State Bowling Championship on CrescentCitySports.com. Along with Lenny Van Gilder, I'm Ken Trahan from Premier Lanes here in Gonzales, Louisiana. Once again, privileged to be able to bring this to you, as we have now for the last several years. Teams gathering around their coaches. We see this before each match. We see it after each game. There is coaching that takes place. There is strategy that takes place. And they get some last-minute words of wisdom here about how to go about it. And again, it's the consummate team sport. Just because you're not bowling well doesn't mean you're not into this and you're not trying to focus on getting the best score you can, because even if you can't win your match, total pins matter, not just in every game, but for the entire day as well. Winning the match, so important. You can win 18 points with the match play itself, aside from the total pins, as Lenny spoke about earlier. As we're just about set for the start of things, as both sides have commenced with their huddles.
You got to look at Bruce Humbert there, and again, he's the constant in all 7 of these state titles. You know, the faces and the names change. You know, Bruce was an outstanding bowler in his own right. Still picks up a bowling ball a couple of times a week.
Bowled with him back in the day. I'm not going to say when that day was, just in the day.
It was a day.
Or at night, or both. You ever heard of Pelican Lanes?
I have. I bowled juniors there with, with Bruce and with Craig Schaefer, whose son Cody was a big part of 3 championship teams here. Yeah, yep. 16, 18, and 19.
If you could bowl at Pelican Lanes, you pretty much could bowl anywhere. We're ready to go. First shot of the match from Peyton Averill is wide, and he washes out with Brother Martin. So that's how this thing begins. Again, ball's going to carry longer. And a crossover strike. So Averill, I should say, of course. And a good strike here for Brother Martin, and a break right away for Bufkin. And a strike for Denham Springs.
That's Iki, the left-hander.
And a strike for Denham Springs. Number 1, Noah Fontenot, the freshman. And a strike at number 5 for Brother Martin, Sam Vollenweider, the junior. And you hear the enthusiasm already. Going to look at...
It's going to be a little louder in here. Be a little louder for this match than it was for the previous match.
Here's Null, and he's a little bit high, and he got a big break. Breaks up a split. And there's a strike for Brother Martin in the number 2 spot with Tyler Nunes. Yeah. Seven count for Van Gogel. Ball's going to go long on the lane 25. We've seen that throughout. Really good pitch on 24, but unable to carry for Denham Springs was Grant Pendergraft. Nice cover. Spares are so important, and Denham Springs ready to converts. Spare for Van Gogel is one of Martin marks in the first frame. All 3 bowlers on the high pair. This spare for Denham Springs at 2. And a nice strike for Denham Springs by Tyler Davis, the anchor bowler. Good start for the Yellow Jackets.
Clean all the way around in the first frame. You mentioned Jacob, and we talk about this run of state championships. Between a couple of losses in there, between COVID, in all of this, no one has won 4 state championships, and that is something Jacob's got a chance to do here today.
Iki strikes, and the left-handers on the left lane are going to have a much better angle carry percentage because of a slightly inverted 1-pin. We've seen that for 2 days, and Iki just showed us that. Bufkin way wide, stays on the lane with it, but a 3 count. So a good start for Iki with a double for Denham Springs.
Now Bush will, on lane 24, will try to do something with the Greek church.
Bufkin pulls that one badly. Ends up with a 7 count. And with Bufkin, I don't want to say it's do or die, but what happens a lot is he's very fast to the line, and that can throw his timing off at times.
There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of movement, and yes, that's just a little bit can throw things off. There's an issue right now in lane 25 that they're trying to resolve. I think they've got it taken care of.
Right. When you get to the line fast too soon, the ball is behind you, and the only thing you can do is pull it through. And that's what you see most often in those situations. Beautiful shot here. Yeah. So that's a double out of the box for Vollenwater. Now we're going to look at Pendergraft on lane 23 for Denham Springs. And a split. Van Gilder for Brother Martin with a flush strike on 26. Here's Null. And can't get the 7 out. Good shot nonetheless. Ball will get there a little bit later, slightly later on 25 than on 26. And then the right-handers have had issues carrying on 25. As I mentioned, watch the left-hander on 25. Much better chance to carry. We saw that in the first frame already.
Denham Springs early with 3 opens on the left side. Brother Martin has 1 open. And I think with some of these shots, too,
using the whole lane here. And a little bit too much on the lane.
And that's, I don't think that's something you can do. We've talked about that, especially that, and that's not this side of the house or lane 25 or anything like that. That's just, you can't use that much of the lane.
Now
Gotta
Davis
be direct
to the line for Denham Springs. Tyler Davis looking to double. Good shot. Beautiful shot there. Great start. 2 doubles on the high pair for Denham Springs. And a missed spare, missing the head pin for Brother Martin. Not something you see from them very often.
No. And Tyler Nunez is a freshman. Relatively new to the game. What's interesting is
Buffkin breaks up the split.
Tyler's older brother, Jack, is a 2-handed left-hander that took up the game a year ago September and ended up in the starting lineup for Brother Martin last year.
Tough leave. 8-pin for a left-hander on the right lane, lane 26 for Denham Springs. Again, it's an unusual leave. You see a good shot, hits the pocket, leaving an 8-pin. That's what you see from right-handers, but Iki left it as a left-hander. And you got to be good and you got to be lucky. And if you have both of those elements, you're going to be great. And strike here, bouncing back for Nunez after the open frame. And a 4-pin for Martin. A good shot nonetheless by Vollenwater.
Sam's kind of unique in a 2-hander in that you see a lot of these guys cross a number of boards. Sam is much straighter.
Strike for Denham Springs on a crossover. And number 1 by Fontenot. And another strike for Denham Springs.
Hebert with a double. He was outstanding earlier. 237, 225, 224 for a 686 series in the semifinal.
That'll get it done.
Out of the number 3 spot. We talked earlier, Zach Rishu in the number 1 spot, shooting 700 for Shaw, was the MVP of the state championship match in Division II.
Pendergraft posts one for Denham Springs, a strike in the 3rd. Another good shot here. So Davis off and rolling for Denham Springs in the 6th spot. He's thrown the first 3, and all have been very good shots.
That jumped.
Here's Bush for Denham Springs on 24. Perfect shot. So all strikes for both teams on the low pair in frame 3.
Yep. Now this makes this a key frame. Who can capitalize now and turn these strikes into doubles? You got a chance to really
Denham
gain some
Springs
ground.
has 5 strikes up out of 6 going to the 4th frame. So a real opportunity for the Yellow Jackets here. Unable to get the first strike. Denham Springs. A real tremendous break here.
Yeah, Averill caught a big break right there.
Averill able to get a double out of a high Brooklyn shot. Buffkin way wide. Again, he's really fast with his feet. You like to tell him to slow down, but I think you know him better. He's not. It's just not in his DNA.
It needs to be a reminder sometimes. It can happen.
Yanks the second one and misses it. So he's struggling right now in a lot of different locations.
And you've got 4 of these 6 bowlers for Brother Martin were part of the state championship match a year ago.
Iki high with his shot. Open frame for Nunez. Through the nose. And an 8 count. The Vollenwater. Iki trying to convert.
Got it. Abears picking up where he left off this morning in the semifinal victory over Archbishop Rummel.
Has a triple in the 3 spot for Brother Martin. Denham Springs able to convert 1 double thus far off of the 5 strikes they had in the 3rd frame. Unable to get one here. Now Null will try to do so on lane 25. Good looking shot. He got it. Excellent shot by Brady Null as he doubles. And now turns it over to Davis, who's got the first 3. Gilder's hit the right lane twice. Here's Davis looking for 4. Right in the track. Stayed in it too long.
Sometimes we're seeing it just stays wide. Yeah.
Got in the oil and never really got out of it. A little bit too much skid. The result, washout here.
Wide on a double there with a 1-2-8-10.
Tough spare here. Well done. Excellent conversion by Davis to keep the lead in his match by 17. We'll get you posted on all the matches after 5 frames, as we always do here. Open frame for Brother Martin. And here's Hickey from the left side. A little high. Broke it up. Got 9. Buffkin struggling early for Brother Martin. See if he can find something. Yank that pitch. Got a fairly easy conversion. Another wide shot. Brother Martin very wide on the low pair, 23 and 24, other than Abear. A lot of wide shots, missing the head pin. Buffkin throws that one a lot better as he converts.
Yeah, it was a much better looking shot there.
Spears. And a spear for Brother Martin. So Spears will win for you. Strikes will get you pins. Spears will win. There's that 10-pin flat one.
Yeah. That's rack related there. That was a solid shot. And the 6-pin just laid in the gutter.
And Brother Martin continues to be wide on 23 and 24. Beautiful shot. And that's a triple at number 2 for Denham Springs and Pendergraft. And there's another nice shot. Another triple for Denham Springs in the 5 spot by Brady Null. So Denham Springs bowling well on a bit of a roll here. And another strike. Left lane the key for these right-handers. There's a carry. 10-pin goes down.
Better shot. First frame was light for Jacob, and the 3rd frame was high. So kind of split the difference, I guess. And
there's Davis. Leaves a 10.
Yeah, that's fortunate. Could have been a 6-9-10 that was through the face. And
Haverhill strikes for Brother Martin in the 6th. So we look at these matches right now. At number 1, Denham Springs a very slight edge. At number 2, Denham Springs is up. At number 3, Brother Martin's up. Number 4, Denham Springs up. Number 5, Denham Springs a slight lead. And number 6, Denham Springs is up. So Denham Springs has the edge here.
So far, 5 of 6. No big margins out there except maybe at number 4, I guess, at this point. It's probably the biggest margin that's going right now.
Yeah, it's a large margin. Now the matches are close. Yeah. Here's Iki for Denham Springs, who's done a good job early here. Sent that one. Leaves the 10-pin. Buffkin on the right lane. Got it down the lane that time. Struck.
Well, maybe I mean, that you get lined up, but maybe he figured out something on that spare ball a moment ago.
Spare conversion for Nunez. Now we get to Pendergraft, who's on a three-bagger for Denham Springs. Hickey cross lane, no problem. Trip to 4-9. Mullenwater likes that. A little bit wide for Pendergraft, double wood. Brother Martin's strength all year long has been low pair when they've been able to beat people. Not so much early on in this game.
And last year was kind of an outlier in that regard, but that has been, that depth in the lineup has been Brother Martin's strength for years, and it's, you know, it's not a coincidence.
Spearing it up is Bear. And a nice pair covered by Pendergraft to maintain his lead. Really good shot here. Outstanding shot for 4 in a row by Brady Null for Denham Springs, leading his match. Van Gilder trips a 4. Now he's in a good position in his match.
Took the lead.
Just said that. Here's Davis, who's rolled well, trying to match Van Gilder in the 6th spot. Good release. Good shot. Good looking bowler. 5 and 6 for Denham Springs, looking very good. So we get toward the end of the 6th frame here. Very similar picture to what we said about the 5th. Here's Buffkin trying to find it for Brother Martin. And he gets a double. That's big for him to get him going. That's 4 in a row for Brother Martin on this high pair. Icky trying to match. And does. 24-pin lead for Icky. And a double for Brother Martin at number 1 with Averill. And a strike thrown at number 5 for Brother Martin by Mullenwater.
You start to hear the crowd get into it as well. When those strikes start stringing, whatever side it's on, the crowd is going to get more into it. Trying to ride that wave of momentum right now.
Now you get to Brady Null, who's been on his game. Strike for Nunez for Brother Martin. Null walked off the lane. He was about to bowl, and he stepped off. Talks to a teammate. They're trying to figure out whose is what.
Okay.
It's two similar equipment.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they're looking at rosin bags here and seeing who is exactly whose is whose. Make sure everybody's got the right thing.
I just
a lot of times they don't have names on it, so it's
a split for Brother Martin. And number 3. Perfect shot. And Nolan continues to bowl great. The Denham Springs looking tough here in game 1. Blows the rack, carries, that's 4 in a row.
7 fell late there.
But it fell. Maintains a slight edge in his match. There's a nice double wood spear by Pendergraft. Now we get Davis on a strike. Trying to cut this lead to 4 with a strike here. Gave it room, and he stuffed it.
Now look at this. All 6 bowlers on the high pair here.
Everybody struck. So,
and Brother Martin's got 3 doubles going. That is,
so
I mean, that makes this 8th frame huge.
You got big swing here for both sides in the 8th frame with all these strikes up. And Brother Martin's got 2 strikes to work with on the low pair. Here's Buffkin, who's got a double right now. Now he's got a triple. Icky will try to match. He still has the edge in his match, but Buffkin's coming. Good release by Icky.
That's soft, though. Well, held on. Wow.
Perfect shot.
I thought that looked a little softer than some of the previous shots. I thought it had a chance to jump, but it held.
4-pin, good shot, didn't carry. And in that match, needs a carry because What a tremendous game Brady Knowles bowling. And another strike for Denham Springs in the one position. Fontenot. And that is a strike for Brother Martin. That's a big triple. So a triple for Averill for Brother Martin. He now has a solid 21-pin lead in his match. Now Pendergraft to the lane. He's got a solid 23-pin lead in his match for Denham Springs. Good 9 count. Nunez trying to come back. Now that's double, and that makes that match tighter. He's now down by 11. Brother Martin has done it late in games over and over again. And Van Gilder carries again. 5 in a row.
I think that was a little harder than maybe he wanted to throw it. That's why the 5-pin was still standing, but the head pin came off the wall and took it out late.
No, swings that one way wide. Well, he'd been bowling great, but he really pushed that one wide. And keep an eye on that match now. He had a solid edge. And now he's got to convert this to maintain a lead in his match.
Yep.
That's how quick things can change. Yeah, it's Brother Martin shoots spears well, and that's a good example. Look at conversion by Hebert.
Right. At the moment, we have 3 matches each way.
Right now, but it's changing, though.
Yeah, total pins, a slight edge to Brother Martin at the moment as we get ready to head to the 9th frame.
Strike for Denham Springs at number 3. That's Cooper Bush.
And a lot of that.
Swings it. Can't get the conversion, so now that becomes a 3-pin lead for Brother Martin at number 5. A very close match to watch going down on the wire in the 5th position. Now you get to the anchor bowler who's bowled great thus far, Tyler Davis. There's a key double for Denham Springs at 1. Fontenot.
Oh,
wow. And a trip 4 goes down. Big carry for Brother Martin. A 4-bagger in the 1 spot for Averill.
I mean, that head pin hit the 4, and it just spun it, and I think it went around twice before it finally said, okay, I've had enough, I'm falling down.
Now Pendergraft trying to maintain his edge, which is 12 pins. Oh my goodness,
wow.
What an unbelievably difficult leave. A chance for Nunez, and he strikes. And that totally changes the number 2 match. So Brother Martin up at 1 and likely to go up at 2 now, and up at 3 for sure.
Now, that's now the lead at 5 of 6 matches.
Correct. It's flipped that just like that. And here's Buffkin, who still has a chance. He's on a triple. Gave it room. Oh, can't carry the 10 pin.
Got the messenger came across, but it went in front of the 10.
There's a big split for Brother Martin at number 3. Hebert's in control of his match, but that's going to cost pins. Nice shot there. Gave it a run. Yeah. Iki trips the 6. Iki doing his job beautifully. He's in control of his match for Denham Springs. And now you miss both pins on the spear shot, so still in control of that match. Brother Martin at 3. Now you get Null. And this is a 3-pin match at number 5, so this is the match to watch. The number 5 match is the one that could determine the margin of this game. Here's Null. Gave it room. Punched it. 9th frame so important. It sets up everything with regard to the 10th. Then you get a match. Well delivered by Vollenwater. Maintains his 3-pin lead. Again, that match will come down to the final shot.
Yeah, 2 and 5 are the 2 matches that are really the tightest. 6 is not over by any means.
No. And now we get 6. Davis on the lane. On a 225 pace. Delivers. High. Hebert high for Brother Martin in the 10th. He can't use that 4-bagger to his advantage. Still has the edge. Just has to finish up. Van Gilder sends it. Delivers it. So now expands his lead at number 6. Conversion.
Possible 270 there. Davis has a possible 234.
He does. Brother Martin looking right now like a 6-2 or 7-1 game at this point. Here's Bufkin. He's found himself. He left the 10-pin in the last frame. Otherwise, he's last half of the game, he's been really good.
You go back to that 5th frame when he made the 5-pin, and it was like he found himself again there.
Here's Iki on a triple, bowling extremely well. And left it wide. But still going to win his match at number 4. Big split for Brother Martin here.
On a fill ball, though. A good time for that.
Yep.
You're going to make a mistake. That's the time to make it.
Bufkin, big 4. Not what you want to see with a gutter ball.
But it was on an open frame, so no real damage.
And that's a winner at number 2 for Brother Martin. Nunez closing with a flourish. 4 in a row. Again, this team bowls when it matters most. It's just a familiar sight. Look at this pickup. Wow, my goodness.
Not the way you're supposed to make it.
Bounced it. He had already won the match anyway. Pendergraph strikes.
Oh, it's a spare.
A spare, rather. He was throwing a gutter ball. Pardon me. A stone 10-pin, and that is critical. Now Denham Springs can win at number 5.
Yeah.
There's a really good shot thrown by Null, and he just didn't carry the 10-pin. Now has to make it. Give himself a chance to win. And he does.
Got it. Yeah. So Vollenweider, if he gets 8 on the fill, would be 213, and that would force Null to strike on the first shot.
On the first shot. Yeah, he can win with a strike. And his shot is looking good, and another 10-pin. Same exact shot, same exact result. So here it is. Null must strike to win, and this would be the difference between a 7-1 or a 6-2 game.
Could be, absolutely, yeah. Brother Martin's going to sweep the high side.
So here's Null for the win. Gave it room and left it way wide. So this is going to be a 7-1 win for Brother Martin. And then it becomes a matter of the pin total.
They're going to have about a 100-pin edge on the low side, and they've got a slight edge right now on the high side.
Van Gilder loses a 10-pin. Good shot right in the proper area. Just a little bit of a flat 10, but good shot. And there's a double for Brother Martin at 3. And Blake Hebert.
Hebert's been outstanding all day. And
unable to convert. Van Gilder has clinched his match regardless. Trying to convert here. Throws it hard and makes it. Oh, ye of little faith. And Hebert strikes out with Brother Martin. In the 3rd hole, the Crusaders finish like champions as they typically do. Second half of games belongs to Brother Martin. That's just been what we've seen for a long time, including earlier today. They shoot 601 for the low pair, their 3 pair, and they win by 116 pins there. Meanwhile, Van Gilder closing out, looking for 249. Got it. 249 game for Van Gilder. 650 on the high pair, 1251 for Brother Martin in the first game. That'll get it done.
So Brother Martin won the low pair by 116, and they're going to have just a slight edge on this side. So it will be over a 100-pin lead with 7-1
lead.
Yeah.
Very solid position to be in, to say the least.
You want to start fast. You don't want to have to play from behind.
Davis trying to convert here. He's bowled a good game. And look at the 9 counts. He's had 4 of those in this game. Trying to convert the 4-pin here. Does so. Now Davis trying to throw a strike here to close this out in positive fashion. Be a 128-pin difference if he strikes between the two teams. Sent it way wide.
Wow.
So 131 is the difference for Brother Martin. And a 7-1 lead in game one.
All right, well, we reset for game two. A quick reminder, today's coverage on Crescent City Sports brought to you by Rhino Shield Mid-South. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Rhino Shield resists chipping, cracking, flaking, or peeling, and is backed by a 25-year warranty. Get your free estimate visiting rhinoshield.com or rhinoshieldmidsouth.com or by calling 833-233-7181.
131-pin lead for Brother Martin with a 7-1 lead after one game of this Division I state championship from Gonzales. Along with Eddie Van Gilder, I'm Ken Trahan.
Also today's coverage on Crescent City Sports brought to you by the Greater New Orleans USBC, serving men, women, and youth bowlers in the New Orleans area. This year's GNO USBC City Tournament is May 18th and 19th at Bolero Kenner. They're coming off a very successful New Orleans Fall Classic last fall in its inaugural edition. Go to GreaterNewOrleansUSBC.com for the latest information. Check out their Facebook page. Again, our thanks to President Claude Mayer and the entire board for their support of not just high school bowling, but bowling in general in the metro area and throughout Louisiana.
Had several questions over the last 2 days about what's next with baseball for us. The answer is we'll have it published very soon, but next Tuesday we'll have a great doubleheader for you on Crescent City Sports.
No doubt about it. Looking forward to that.
Well, Buffkin with a tremendous break to start the second game. Yep, you got the oldest rivalry period, Jesuit Holy Cross, and then you got Brother Martin Brummel, two really good teams. Kurt Schroeder Stadium next Tuesday night. We'll have it for you on Crescent City Sports Live.
The home of baseball.
I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, this is like
strike for Brother Martin.
This is the third year now out of 4 we've seen the state team championships contested here at Premier. I'm a big fan of this setting, and this is maybe becoming the home of the state championships.
I like it fine.
Now, tomorrow we'll have the singles finals. You need more lanes than the 26 they have here, so we'll be at All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge for the singles finals. Next year, by the way, the singles are coming to New Orleans because Baton Rouge is hosting the USBC Women's Championship. So they're building out at the River Center, a 54-lane center, but they also use All-Star for some of the ancillary events that go on there. In fact, Kim Bogan, the general manager of All-Star Lanes, is one of the coaches for Denham Springs.
This spare there. So I assume you mean they're coming to Kenner?
They Kenner, yes. Yeah. I say, yeah. We have Bolero Kenner.
Beautiful shot here. No, opens up the rack there. Ready with a strike for the Yellow Jackets. Stone 9.
Wow. I think he yanked it just a tiny bit. Maybe missed a board in, and but still, you would think you would. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Yeah. No complaints. Yeah. Keep it there. You'll be fine. That's been the case thus far for Van Gilder. Davis. Sweet shot. He's bowled well. So 131 the margin to go at 7-1. 2-1 game. State championship on the line, Division I. We arrive at the second frame. First things first, Denham Springs strikes at 3 with Cooper Bush. Now Buffkin, who improved dramatically in the second part of the first game. He's crossed over on the first one, is high on this one. Adjustment time. And gutter ball. And he
on a strike, yeah. On a strike, it's right. Certainly fixable.
Not painful yet. Could be. unable to get the spare, and a 7 count at that, so not a good frame there. Iki will go cross lane for the 10 pin from the left side. Well done. You can hear that ball staying on the thumb.
Yep.
A little bit too long, which kind of killed the shot. From no. Comes up light.
Oh.
There's the flat 10.
Wow, what a shot by Vollenweider. Ripped the rack and with a 7-10 left standing.
That's that, again, that's that lane and that's that rack. And Brother Martin off to a slow start here. Struggling on the low pair. And of course now, an open frame on the high pair and another pin given away. What Brother Martin doesn't want to do is give Denham Springs any hope in this game. Denham Springs is good enough to jump through that hoop. Another open frame for Brother Martin. They've had 3 already on the low pair. And Null with a double continues to throw the ball well. He and Davis have done that consistently. Strike for Van Gilder. And back on the stick is Averill with a strike. Now Davis, who's thrown it good from start, and Pendergraft, who's on a strike as well for Denham Springs. Pendergraft on 24, Davis on 26. Pendergraft doubles with a Brooklyn. Davis comes up light.
This is a good start. This is exactly what Denham Springs needed after game 1.
Absolutely.
You know, Brother Martin's opened the door a little bit, 4 opens through 2 frames. Meanwhile, Denham's got a double at 2, 3 coming up now, a double at 5.
And here's Bush looking for a double. But the Yellow Jackets further progress here. Middle of the lane 2-pin conversion. Davis converts even in his match early.
So basically they've been able to make up 50 or so pins here in the first 2 frames.
Antono strikes, has a slight lead in the number 1 match. Buffkin leads the 7 with a good shot. Bush converts.
That's one of those sometimes you don't understand. You send a 5-pin flying to the wall and you think it's going to take out the 7-pin and it just misses.
Iki. Pins are aching on that one. Match even. And a strike. That's 3 in a row for Denham Springs at number 2. And Pendergraft is off to a great start. Buffkin with a spare. Very encouraging for the Yellow Jackets early in game 2. Can they maintain this momentum? No, to step up on a double. Nudges the 10-pin.
They say you've got 8.5 boards of area to be able to make the corner pins. Yeah. And I think Peyton Averill just used like every one of the 8.5.
And a break here for Vollenweider. Now No looking for 3 in a row. Sent it, really good delivery. Wow.
Yeah, great
as soon as he let it go. I mean, he is mashing right now. And there's a solid lead at number 5. Fast 8.
Yeah.
For Nunez.
Yeah, Nunez
stuffing early.
Better result there, especially, you make a good shot after you start out open, and then that's the result.
Yeah, and goes to send it way wide.
Yeah, that's got to hurry. It's got it wide.
Strike up on the board for Averill. Denham Springs the early edge in game 2.
3 in a row at 2 and 5 now. So that's Brother Martin does not have a double on the board anywhere yet.
And there's another carry for Davis. So Denham Springs bowling extremely well early. Brother Martin is not here in game 2. Great cover by Van Gilder. keep himself clean and keep himself even in his match. A split for Hebert.
4-10.
Buffkin flush to 1-3, carries, even in his match. Iki trying to take the lead with a strike here. Gives it a lot of room. Bends it, rips it. Brother Martin really struggling on the low pair this game. Trip 4, leave the 10. Denham Springs with a lot of room here to make up a lot of pins thus far in this game. Can they take advantage? They got a bunch of strikes on the board.
Yeah, so they've got 8 marks working right now. The scoreboard is showing it as basically an even match, but they've got 8 marks
working. Got 5 strikes working.
Yeah, to Brother Martin.
And there's a double right here for Fontenot. Yeah. So there's 1 double already.
So that's 4 doubles that they've got in play right now. Which every time you double, you cut 10 pins of deficit, or you add 10 pins to your lead.
Strike for Van Gilden. For 4 in a row, no.
That's high.
Pendergraft looking for 4 in a row. He's got it. Wow, the low pair for Denham Springs really, thus far, winning big in this game. High pair is winning also. Right now, a definitive edge for Denham Springs in game 2. Subject to change, but right now they've got to be feeling good. Good shot. Well done. Yellow Jackets coming on strong now. Cooper Busch strikes. Nice spare here. No. Really got an easy game. He just easy to the line, easy release, good reaction. Another tough spare leave.
Yeah, it's still no doubles. Want to try to start building a lead back up again. There's 2 ways to do it. One, you get opens from the other team, but if you're trying to do it on your own ball, you got to throw doubles. And Brother Martin has none.
Looking to take the lead. He's high, broke up the split though. Dropped the spare. Made the spare.
That's a big conversion for Averill there. Just capitalize on that open now, and now you take a 1-pin lead.
Yeah. Even as a 1-pin match at number 1. Meanwhile, number 2, Pendergraft with the first 4 will step up in a moment. His opponent is struggling, Nunez. Not struggling there, perfect shot. Now we get a look at Pendergraft looking for number 5 to keep the momentum going for Denham Springs. Taking a lot of time. Perfect shot. Averill strikes. Buffkin yanks. And now Iki trying to look for 3 in a row. He's got the lead in his match by 10 right now, can expand it. Tug that. And got a bad break, ends up with a split. Buffkin double wood spare. Got it. Nice shot. Now puts him in a pretty good spot here, forcing his opponent to make to keep the lead. Good conversion by Busch on the 10-pin. Now Fontenot trailing by 1 pin. Soft 10-pin here for Vollenwater. Now Iki will try to make this to keep the lead in his match. He's going to miss them all.
So, Ken, what we're seeing right now is we start to get to the midway point here. The left pair is on the 6th frame. The right pair is on the 5th frame. It's basically 3-3 in terms of games right now, but Denham's got the edge in total pins because they've got some big spreads in the matches that they are leading. The other ones are all very close.
Fontenot trying to convert in what is a tie match. Excellent spare. So number 1 match is dead even in the 6th frame. Number 6 match dead even as we speak. It stays that way.
Yeah, flat 10, it just 6 pin just lays in the gutter right there.
Not enough drive. Here's Null, who's bowled extremely well for Denham Springs. He keeps bowling extremely well. Now Pendergraft looking for 6 in a row for the Yellow Jackets on lane 24. Has the first 5. There's the release. He's got a chance.
Right
He's
there.
got it.
Great shot.
Pendergraft has given the Yellow Jackets a tremendous lift here in game 2. Huge lift.
Abear's got to contend with double wood over on lane 23. He's got the 2-8.
Just to try to keep the lead in his match, which is very narrow, against Bush, who's up now. Pulled out a bit. Got away with it and got 9. Good spare. Yep, maintains a slight edge. And a strike here for Davis. To stay even with Vangild.
So what's interesting in that number 6 spot is both bowlers at this point. Let's see if
Makes
Jacob
the
converts. Yeah. So they both got 80 through 4 at this point. You know, we've talked about maybe 25 being less favorable than 26. They both throw nothing but strikes on 25, and no one has struck on 26 in that match at 6.
Buffkin strikes to maintain a 6-pin lead at number 4. Now at number 1, you're dead even.
Oh, by the way, Tyler Nunez doubled in the 5th and 6th. It's Brother Martin's first double of the game.
And a beautiful shot by Fondo. And he takes the lead by 3 on a 7 count here and a tough spare coming. Here's Iki. Able to get the 8-pin out.
And here we had the 6-8 there. That's would have been a very tough break.
Mullenwater strikes. Nice cover. That's a 3-pin lead for Fontenot at number 1 for Denham Springs. And here's Pendergraft looking for 7 in a row to start the game. He's got it.
The wall shot and slipped out the 4-5-7.
Denham Springs getting what it needs right now. And a split from Brother Martin as well. Real struggle at number 2 right now for Brother Martin. Has a tremendous margin being established. That's in the oil. Got the 10 out. And a strike for Bush.
So Denham now has a 100-pin edge on the left pair.
Gigantic.
Brother Martin actually has a 15-pin edge on the right pair right now, but they've got a couple of shots in hand as well. They've already finished the 6th frame.
And their margin was 131 coming in. And a strike carried here in a 3-pin match by Averill. And a nice strike here for a double. Bernal continues to maintain the edge in his match. Hebert strikes. Maintain a 5-pin edge. Very close matches outside of 2. Nunez has had a rough game, gets a strike here. Davis through the nose. So that gives the lead to Vangelder at 6.
And as soon as he left the split, like half the Denham Springs contingent held up 2 fingers just to make sure he knew, hey, don't try to go get this. Count important, go get 2 pins.
That one's way out the building, and double wood, middle of the lane. And a close match. Now Fontenot can extend the lead for Denham Springs at 1. And big shot here. Perfect shot. Perfect shot. Denham Springs in solid position at 1. They're going to win at 2. Very close at 3. It's close at 4. Denham Springs up at 5. Brother Martin up at 6. And Denham Springs with a definitive edge right now in both matches and total pins in this game. Buffkin squeezes it. He's through the nose. So now that makes it tough on him. And Pendergraph looking for number 8. All eyes fixed on lane 24. Icky strikes. And he could take the lead in that match. Here is Pendergraph taking his time, looking for number 8. It is there. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. That's a good shot. It's a good shot. It just didn't, it flattened out as it arrived.
Buffkin with a big conversion. He needed that. Right now, Brother Martin's trying to win a couple of matches is what they're trying to do because they're down in total and they're down in matches.
And maintain your overall lead in total. You just want to keep it as close as you can.
And another strike for Fontenot, a double. Solid position at number 1. And a blowout strike here for Vollenwater.
Great shot. We got a lane issue right now. We're resolving on lane 25, so that'll be a moment.
Blackout. So they'll try to get that taken care of. Fontenot in control at match number 1 right now.
23 pins.
23 pin lead. 2 is already decided. It's a matter by how much. Bush strikes, and that's a double, and that's huge. He's in control at 3. And Denham Springs up in all matches. A low pair.
That's wide.
Way wide. And a tough spear conversion coming. Denham Springs clearly putting itself squarely into this match. This particular match has a very familiar feel to the semifinal match Brother Martin had. Brother Martin dominated game 1, got whipped in game 2, and all of a sudden it was a horse race, and then they turned it on in game 3 to pull away from Rummel. This one's got the same kind of feel. Here's Null on a double. Really gave it good room and got the carry. Denham Springs in great shape here.
Big conversion right there by Averill on the 310 split to at least keep him in the match.
Conversion by Van Gilder to maintain the lead in his match. That's an important point. Brother Martin's got to win a match or 2 here. And there's a triple for Denham Springs. They're going to sweep. They're going to sweep on a low pair for sure. And the total's going to be huge. Gigantic margin. Brother Martin's low pair really having a rough game, which is highly unusual for Brother Martin. Denham Springs feeling it, and the confidence is growing for the Yellow Jackets. The game totals and the low pair for Brother Martin are going to be substantially lower than what we're accustomed to seeing.
Well, Brother Martin had a big edge on the low side in game 1.
They did. They typically win the low pair, but this game...
And they've given that all away here in game 2.
Getting dominated. Icky to the nose, but gets 9. Now Buffkin, he needs to maintain the edge in his match for Brother Martin's sake. He really sent that one. No chance to get back, and it's a tough count and a tough spare as well. So Brother Martin tenuously trying to hold on to a couple of edges here, and I do mean tenuous. Icky with a relatively easy spare here, and he makes it. Good conversion by Buffkin. He needed that to maintain his edge. 13 pins.
Now look, early on here, remember, go back to first and second frame. There were some Brother Martin opens that kind of opened the door a little bit. But you look at the last 6-7 frames. Denham Springs is just stringing strike.
Dominating. Here's Fondo on a triple going to the 10th frame. So heard that one hang. He knew it wasn't going to get there. Vollenwater slaps up at 10.
What's interesting, if Fondo's got a thumb in the ball, that is highly unusual for a two-hand.
Here's Null, who's blown a great game. 6 out of 7 strikes on a triple. The reaction has been really good for Brady. And he gave it good room again. And there it is. I mean, he's locked in. And he's calm as a cucumber, too. Love his demeanor. Building pins, pins, and more pins on the Yellow Jackets. Good spare. Good conversion. Fontenot wins that match. As expected, they're going to win every match on the low pair, Will Denham Springs. Dan Gilder strikes. Needed that.
Yeah, working on a Dutch 200 there. I think he would gladly give that up for.
Big shot for Davis here to have a chance to win this match. Gave it room, turned it over too much. Van Gilder maintains a 14-pin edge.
And the pattern continues in that match at 6. They've done nothing but strike on 25, and no one has struck on 26.
200 game. And number 1 for Denham Springs, Noah Fontenot. Nunez finishes 157. Spared up by Davis. But right now, Brother Martin's trying to win at 4 and trying to win at 6. They have 7 points right now.
Maintain a lead.
Just to maintain a lead in the match. And another strike. Another double. Look at the game at Pendergrass Bowling. Buffkin trying to maintain his 13-pin lead. Able to strike in the 9th frame. Iki needs to match him to stay in touch in this match. Gave it a lot of room. Too much room. He almost got a break.
Yeah.
Pendergraft looking for a 260 game. And 4-pin. So he's going to end up with 255 if he spares. He'll win by 98 pins over his opponent.
Denham Springs' season high for a game was 1271. They've got a great chance to top that right here.
He nips the 7-pin, but it counts. Now Van Gilder has not been able to strike on this right lane. Can he find it once? That one's not wide. And he's a 4-pin.
Best shot he's thrown on lane 26 this game.
You see the frustration. What a game for Pendergraft. 255. Van Gilder needs to spare it up to make sure he maintains the advantage. Does so, and then Bush with a 4-bagger for Denham Springs. They continue to build pins. They might actually erase the 130-pin win lead.
Yeah, they're certainly working on that. They may do it all on just the left side here.
Exactly. Here's Null. Another good-looking shot. Yes, sir. 5-bagger for Brady Null. Denham Springs in a dominating position right here in game 2.
They've got a realistic chance here at 1,300 this game.
Without a doubt. Bush. 5-pin. Well done. Another outstanding game. Now Davis really needs a strike here to put pressure on Van Gilder. Good release. But it runs high and he splits. So, Brother Martin's going to win at 6, it appears. And they're up at 1, so they need to hold those two to get to 9. Up at 4, I should say, to get to 9. In terms of total. Bush with a 212. So a 667 for Denham Springs on the low pair. They win by 157 pins over Brother Martin. Denham Springs is poised to take the lead in total pins here, barring a rally in the 10th frame by Brother Martin. Tried to make it, doesn't get any. Brother Martin with 2 strikes up Denham Springs with 2 strikes up, going to the 10th. 1 strike. Brother Martin has 2, I should say. They keep flipping screens. I hate this. Just leave it alone. So here is Iki against Buffkin. Buffkin has the strike up, so this becomes a big shot for Brother Martin. They want to try to hold the total pin lead. He's in the oil. And he slaps it out.
That's a winner.
So he wins the match, but it's all about pins at this stage. Yeah. He basically just needed the mark. He took care of that. Here's Iki. Slow speed, it's going to come. Leave the 7th up. Now, if you're Buffkin, you're trying to get pins for your team right here. Another strike would be huge. Not a chance. Can't get to the 1-3. Ball stayed long and didn't get there. He'll still win his match with a 200 game. Total pins are going to be very close. Iki finishes at 169. Now Buffkin trying to convert for 203. Does so. Solid game. So again, the margin 131 coming in. And now the bowlers on the lanes that have strikes. This becomes the swing right here, at number 2 for total pins. Vollenwater slipped a little bit, it appeared.
He has struggled keeping his footwork at the line. There was a situation that happened in a semifinal match where he actually fell down.
It was unfortunate because no one could totally tell exactly whether or not he had fouled or not, and it was no buzzer went off, so you know, without any hard evidence, it's just hard to do anything. But fortunately, he was okay. Yeah. Another big shot here. Gave it a lot of room.
He got it back. That's 20 big pins in terms of
he puts pressure on Null, but Null's been nails. 8 out of 9.
Yeah, but even an open, unless it's a horrible
I'm not talking about the match. I'm talking about puts pressure on pin-wise. Yeah.
Sure.
Looking for 235 here. Pull that one bad. You got it anyway. That's big in the pin department. Big. Now Null has a chance to answer. Neither of the 6 bowlers are on a strike. Null has been fantastic. He's been calm as can be, as we mentioned. Gave it room. Too much. Wow. It hooked early. Ball snapped early, and now Van Gilder in a big spot here. Brother Martin could hold the total pins lead here if he can finish well. It's in the oil. And it's a carry. Well, he's hit that lane every time.
He's resorting the rockets to the pocket. When in doubt, that's the fallback. Yeah?
Brother Martin at this point looking like it might hold on to the total pin lead as a result of this 10th frame.
And you see a shot like that, I mean,
the pin's hurt.
That's 4 pins right there. That's not 2. It's on a strike. That's 4 pins.
Yeah, really looking for that first double. Gave it room. He's high.
Oh, what a jump.
And he'll end up with a 199 game if he covers 2. Unable to get that double, but we look at the total pins here. They needed to hold on by 131. They lost by 157 on the low pair. And right now it looks like they're going to hold on.
Yeah, they're going to win this by 50 or more.
40 or 50 or more, yeah, depending on what happens with Denham Springs in the 6th spot. So Brother Martin will hold the total pins lead and have a 9-7 lead, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Gilder gets 2. Now Davis. And pins do matter. Even if they're down, they want to get closer. Gave that a lot of room. And he smushed it. Absolutely smashed it. It's going to come down to 1 game, folks, for the state championship. So, what you always hope for, that you get the final game to be a deciding game, and that's what we're going to have here. No doubt about it.
That's what you want, right?
Without a doubt. Here's Davis looking for pins. Good shot. No doubt. He got pins. It'll be like a 48-pin margin, it looks like, on this lane, which means a 109-pin win. If that's the case, that'll be a 22-pin edge for Brother Martin going to game 3, which is basically scratch.
Well, and to keep in mind, if you win the game, you win the game, and you win total.
Here we go.
That's 5. That's 5 right there.
Davis high, so the total's going to be 586 on this pair, which means a 51-pin margin.
We'll get the totals updated here as we get ready for game 3.
So they won the game by 106. So it should be 25 pins, 9-7 and 25.
Brother Martin, and they're up by 25 pins.
25 pin margin, so 9-7 lead for Brother Martin, a 25 pin edge, going to the third and deciding game of this state championship match between Brother Martin and Denham Springs. Each team has traded a game where it bowled well and controlled the game. And now who's going to do it in game number 3 with everything on the line? We know what Brother Martin's been able to do over an extended period of time in these type of situations, but they're going to be asked to do it again if they want to win one. So both teams meeting with coaches, as is the case after each game, to go over strategy and talk about what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. Who's stepping up now? Who steps up now? You can hear the enthusiasm on both sides. Bowlers are into it. Fans are into it. Third game is underway. Marvel strikes. Buffkin strikes. Hickey strikes. Nunez strikes.
Great starts all the way around here.
Wallenweider leaves a 10. You're going to have to bowl well to win this championship, either side.
It is
25 pin margin.
In years past, I would tell you Brother Martin hadn't been in this situation very often. Okay? And they have a lot this year. Been a lot of tighter matches. 8-8 against Slidell going into the third. The matches with Rummel and with Jesuit. Even Holy Cross, the one loss on the record. First round of the playoffs against Central Lafourche. The semifinal match earlier today. They've been, there have been tight matches going into the third game where you're not just emptying the bench at that point.
Spare conversion. Bucket shot here.
Let's go, Brady! Let's go, Noah!
Beautiful cover by Fontenot. Spares make a huge difference. Here's No. We had a great look in game 2. And he's a shaking 7.
I don't know how that stood.
Now Pendergraft, who had the big game in game 2. He's the star of the show. Can he continue that here in game 3 and lead the Yellow Jackets to a state title? Good shot. Oh my, that ball started a little early. Shakes his head.
And again, you're getting into game 3 now. You're going to start dealing with transition. How are these lanes going to change?
No converts. Fontenot was about to release and stopped. And a missed spare.
Yeah. What's interesting here is that you see the difference in pace right now. You know,
Denham
Springs has slowed things down a lot. Brother Martin was getting up there and bowling quickly.
Davis stones the pocket for a strike. Mello hasn't shown emotion up until now. Shows it now. 7-10. Bad. Oh, got the 10 out.
Yep. Late break.
Mufkin leaves a 10. Bush gets a fortunate 9. Same breaks, good and bad, all around here early on.
Yep.
Iki looking for 2. Got it. Great start for Iki. Takes the lead in his match. Mufkin misses the spare. Bush takes care of business. Vollenweider strikes.
Yeah, I think as you look at this, as you start thinking through the scenarios here, okay, how do you get to 14 in a 9-7 match that's close enough in total? What is it, 25 pins is the margin going into game 3. Obviously, if Brother Martin wins the game, wins total, they obviously hang on to super total. It's over.
No goes wide.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know that there's realistically a way for Denham Springs not to, if you're going to win 7 of 8 points in this.
Here is Van Gelder, and he leaves a 4 pin.
Yeah. Would you not win super total as well? That's the thing. You know, granted, you could have a close game.
That's a 25-pin margin, so there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, you could win a close game.
And there's a chop for Brother Martin, so an open frame for Averill. And an open frame for No. Again, filling boxes. If you want to win, marks. Nunez trying to get a double or start the game way over the top of that one. Now Davis looking for a double, trying to give Denham Springs 2 doubles on the high pair to start the 3rd and decide a game. Good looking shot. Oh my. Wow. Messenger flies right by the 10. Can't do much more than that.
No, it's a great shot.
Really well delivered. Again, right-handers carrying on the left lane. Set it from the start yesterday and continue to speak about it today. Really good spare for Bush. And a miss here for Davis.
So, I think a lot of what we're seeing early on.
Double wood spare here. Tough.
Yeah. We're seeing transition. We're seeing, I think, some pressure here of game 3. This is, you know, it's all at stake right now.
Strike for Averill. Iki goes through the nose. Can't break it up. For Iki, it's about speed right now. Trying to maintain speed. And speaking of speed, right through the nose, a big split for Nunez, who's had a struggle. And a break for
Buffkin's caught a couple of breaks on that left lane thus far in this game.
Still trails in the match, but pulls himself back. In all likelihood, within 9 here or 8. Yeah, there's going to miss both pins.
That's an interest. You got the 4-10, and he went after the 10 pin.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think middle of the lane pin. What you're comfortable doing, right? And a nice shot here. That's a double for Vollenweider to get out of the box in good shape.
Got an early 26-pin lead.
Fontenot trying to stay even in the match with the spare conversion here. No problem. I'm gonna watch every match from the start and keep you updated on each one here with everything on the line. And there's a wall strike for Brother Martin at 3. Blake Hebert. And an 8-10 here for Van Gelder. Wow. Which is going to change that match for sure. Now Pendergraft on a strike trying to take the lead at number 2. Been throwing a lot of strikes and Stone 10-pin. Good shot. Still a chance to have the lead there with a spare.
The thing to remember in all of this,
gets 9 here.
Transition, the entry angle is changing as the oil moves around and down the lane. And a shot like the one that Grant just threw at in the number 2 spot there looked like it was good, but the entry angle was a little pushed down. And that's a big open frame.
Fails to convert. So now Nunez grabs the lead even with an open frame in the 3rd. Here's Null to convert. No problem. Here's Fontenot in the 1 spot in a dead even match. Got a crossover strike to stay even in the match. Bush for Denham Springs crossing over as well. So Brooklyn's galore for the Yellow Jackets, but they count. So you got a 1-pin match at 3 in favor of Brother Martin. 10-pin match at 2 in favor of Brother Martin. An even match at 1. 1 pin is the difference at 3, as I mentioned. So a bunch of very close matches early on the low pair. That's wide. Got 9 out of it. Needs to spare it up to stay even in the match. Meanwhile, Davis is high and broke up a split. And another split broken up. So Pendergraft got out of trouble. So early on, Denham Springs getting breaks here. Buffkin's gotten a couple for Brother Martin, but Denham Springs has gotten quite a few early in the 3rd game. Even match at number 1 through 4 frames. Davis for the 4-pin conversion, no problem. And he has a 2-pin lead over Van Gelder. Pendergraft converts. Nunez is getting the strike. So he maintains a 10-pin lead at number 2. We update you on every match in every frame. Buffkin yanks it badly and left the 10-pin. He has not been able to hit the right side of the headpin. And a strike here. That's a double for Brother Martin by Hebert. And Hebert takes the lead by 11 now. Bush has a tough conversion as well. Akey with a strike. Akey delivers for Denham Springs and has the lead in his match. Buffkin unable to make the 10-pin earlier. Can he convert it here? Cannot. And another Brooklyn strike for Denham Springs. It's all going their way with breaks in this game thus far. That's a double, and that's a lead in the match for Fontenot. Wallenweider delivers a triple. That's big.
Slipped a little bit at the line again.
Yes.
Look. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's a strike for Averill. Still down by 10. And a strike for Null.
And strikes are coming, and the crowd is picking it up as well.
Pendergraft, strike for sure. Van Gelder, strike for sure. And a solid 10-pin for Nunez when he needed that one. So this one's very competitive. 5th frame arriving on the low pair. It's Denham Springs leading at 1. Brother Martin a slight edge at 2, but need to have a spare to maintain the edge. And got it. Brother Martin up at 3. Denham Springs up at 4. Brother Martin up at 5. And Denham Springs with a slight lead at 6. That's about as even as you can get.
Nothing's big. Anything could swing on 1 or 2 shots.
First strikes for Denham Springs.
Seven cannot slap the 7. That was a light hit.
Buffkin unable to get the ball on the right side of the head pin. And a 7-pin left here for Averill. Denham Springs faithful, believing they can win now. How will Brother Martin respond? Good spare by Buffkin. He did himself clean. He's down by 18 to Iki. Averill gets a spare. Iki looking for the double, and he can't get the 10 pin.
That came in a little light, and the 5-pin just didn't have enough to go get the 10 out.
Vollenweider on a triple. Leaves a 10 pin on the lane that you leave that 10 pin on.
Yeah. He's made nothing but good shots in this game.
Really good shots. Fonson over Denham Springs looking for a triple. Got it. Denham Springs low pair has come up huge. Vollenweider converts. This one has the feel that it's going to go down to the last.
It could go down to the last shot. It absolutely
really does. I don't see either side cracking here. Just don't see it. The previous match in the semifinals, Brother Martin from the 5th frame on was lights out. Can they repeat that? Beautiful shot by Pendergrass. Gilder wide, so
wide off his hand.
Davis with the lead in that match. Nunez takes care of his spare. Finds himself down by 1 now. So Denham Springs up at 1, up at 2. Brother Martin up at 3. Denham Springs up at 4. Brother Martin at 5. And Denham Springs at 6. So Denham Springs up at 4 of 6 matches. And now that match
they
is
got
changing.
3 doubles on the left-hand pair.
That match is changing as well for Denham Springs in their favor. The 3 doubles working. So big changes going on here. The Denham Springs low pair is coming up gigantic again. Trip 4-pin for Averill. Needed every inch of it. Here's No. Trying to double. They asked for the Brooklyn, didn't get it. Spare conversion. You blink now, you lose. Yep. That's basically what we're talking about on either side. You've got to be at your top game the rest of the way with the title on the line. Way wide and a big washout. And that'll really change that match. Denham Springs will take a definitive lead at 2 with a decent frame, barring a great spare on a washout. No problem for No on the 5-pin. Now Fontenot with a 3-bagger up. And a 4-bagger. Denham Springs with a bunch of strikes, building a ton of pins on the low pair. And that is the difference right now in this game. Everything else is tight. But Denham Springs with a definite edge in pins right now. Not huge, but an edge for sure. Nice shot. And another triple, and Denham Springs coming through in the clutch in a big way here. Yellow Jackets can feel this. Still a ways to go, but you're 7 frames in on the low pair, where Denham Springs has dominated in the second game, and again here in game 3. Bush. Oh my. When it's for you, it's for you. They've bowled great, and they've had a lot of breaks too in this game.
Yep.
It's a combination that's a winning combination. Here's
Right
Iki.
Yep.
And there's another strike. Spearing it up nicely for Brother Martin. Buffkin again crosses over. And now an 8-10 for Brother Martin. This game is going the way of Denham Springs as we speak. And it could get definitively in favor of Denham Springs with, right now, 10 consecutive strikes on the low pair. Denham Springs with a huge edge on the low pair. And now here's Fontenot for 5 in a row. That's way left. Oh, my goodness. Wow. A strike for Vollenwater. Brother Martin needs a big rally on the high pair, because the low pair is a big struggle on yet another split.
Terrible break for Nunez there. He hit a 2-4-5, and the head pin came off the wall and took out the 2. Now he's got to convert a baby split.
Yeah, the low pair has just not been what you're accustomed to seeing from Brother Martin. And it's been a struggle today. And the high pair needs to come up big. Still can, because they're only in the 6th frame. But they're going to need a big, big finish on the high pair, will Brother Martin, if they want to win another state title. That's a 6-out.
Yeah, 6 out. 1 and 6 out. That is a lot of pin count loss.
Nunez with a really good spare. Huge credit there. That's tough spare. And Gilder through the nose, down by 4. The 6 spot. They need a lot on this high pair, does Brother Martin. Here's Pendergraph on a 3-bagger. And a 4-bagger. How good is Pendergraph bowling that 2 spot?
Yeah, he's been outstanding.
Strike for Hebert. Now no. Gave it room. Beautiful shot. Bush. High, or rather washes out. Van Gilder covers. But the strikes for the Yellow Jackets really opening up some things here.
Now you start looking at matches here. One got a little tighter with that.
It did. It's still 15 pins though.
Brother Martin's got a chance without a conversion here to take the lead at 3. Denham Springs well in command at 2.
Yep.
On the high side, Denham Springs leads at 4. Brother Martin leads at 5.
And he made the spare. What a huge conversion. Denham Springs coming through in the clutch in a gigantic way.
Yeah. And it's still a slight edge. It's a 4-pin edge for Brother Martin there. So,
but that's a huge cover.
Yeah.
And a big cover by Davis. Brother Martin needed a strike there, didn't get it.
Yeah, they're in the 9th frame now on the low pair, and you want to try to set the stage.
Here's Iki, who's got a sizable lead, can really stretch it here. Unable to do so, but still has a 19-pin lead. Buffkin has struggled from the start. And still struggling, and that's likely another open frame. Just not enough firepower for Brother Martin right now. You just don't see anybody that's really lined up and getting it done other than Vollenwater.
Yeah, Vollenwater's been solid at 5.
Match 1 is now a 4-pin match.
Right.
That could be a decided match in this entire match. Nice spare by Iki. Denham Springs finding a way here, making the shots, converting the spares. Brother Martin needs a double at number 3. And gets it. Got it. To establish the lead there. Can you find 14 points? Pendergraph might have delivered a winner there. What a shot. 5 in a row. I'm not sure he's not the MVP if they win.
I agree.
And Brother Martin unable to string any strikes.
Vollenwater, it's the first bad shot he's thrown here in game 3.
And they've just been unable to put any strikes together. Vollenwater had a 3-bagger, and that's it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you've got 5 baggers, 3 baggers, 4 baggers for Denham Springs, and that's your difference. And there's a good 9 count for Bush.
If he makes the spare, he'll be down by 15 going to the 10th.
So you watch match number 1 now. It's a 4-pin match. Here's Fontenot up in the 10th frame. And a perfect shot. Wow. One more strike.
Yeah, one more strike, he can close it out.
Here's Bush for the conversion. No problem. And Gilder down by 3. Makes a good shot. No with a strike up. Well, let's watch Fontenot first because this will decide the match.
This is huge on the left side.
Fontenot strikes here. That match is over.
Right.
No doubles.
Averill leads the 5-pin, and that's going to be a winner.
That's a winner for Denham Springs, and that might decide this championship. One match could do it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think no matter what, Brother Martin's got to find a way to hang on to total pins because they can't win 5 points in this game.
Cannot win 5.
So they've got to find a way to close the gap in total.
Well, that's all about the right pair.
Yeah, and you look right now. I mean, Denham Springs has an edge on the left pair, and obviously the right pair is going to finish it. That's what it's going to come down to. That is the path for Brother Martin to be able to defend.
Davis, bang! Davis maintains a 3-pin lead. Averill finishes up and got 9, 174. 5-pin win for Denham Springs at number 1. Denham Springs is going to win at number 2. Denham Springs is ahead at number 3.
No, they're down. They're down at 3.
Now Brother Martin's up at number 3, I should say. 2-1 over there. Here's Iki. Pendergraph, first of all, who's been lights out through the nose. Iki leads the 5-pin. Now it's about pins here. Nunez has a chance with a strike up. Cannot get it. Just unable to put any strikes together, and it may prove fatal here for Brother Martin if they don't find strikes here. Pendergraph opens but wins his match. Vollenweider strikes, so Brother Martin's got 2 strikes up in the 8th. They're going to need to build on those. Right now, the margin on the low pair is going to depend on what happens with Brother Martin's third bowler, who has a double up, could really make a huge shot coming up.
Can Hebert
That's Blake
get
Hebert.
2 shots? Yeah.
Now you got Van Gilder, who's on a strike here, with a chance to go ahead if he can strike. Cannot carry.
The head pin came off the wall and just stoned the 5. It was headed towards the 7.
Just can't carry, and there's a strike.
That was Nunez on the field for
finish up the
170.
fill. So really it comes down to this. You need, Brother Martin really needs a strike here from its third bowler.
If not 2.
If not 2, I agree. Blake Hebert. That's high, doesn't carry. Crusaders just aren't striking to be able to give themselves a chance here. It's still close, but Denham Springs has the edge overall. It's close. And a beautiful shot by Bush.
That's the thing. That was a nice edge, and the double now with losing the strike, they're closing that gap.
Well, look at the game. Brother Martin needs a spare.
Oh, yeah. Hebert has to make the spare.
He has to spare to win the game. And he made it.
Yeah. All right. So now he's going to need 7 on the fill to clinch.
Yeah, it's not done yet because you got to believe Bush is going to hit the pocket.
Remember, Bush is the one who got up in the 10th frame after throwing the shot on the wrong lane and threw the strike to win the match against Alexandria 14-13.
Been there, done that, right? You can hear the silence in here. Amazing. Some match. Okay, enough of that. On bowl. Here's no. Davis there. And a 9 count there, so that'll be a winner. So now you're talking about the total here, which matters. Was trying to take it off the sheet here. Pins matter. Got it wide.
Yep.
7 count.
205.
So the difference is 31 pins on the low pair. And the total is 25 overall.
So
Brother Martin must win by 7 on the right pair. Davis takes the lead. That's huge. Brother Martin has 9, and they've now got 10. They won 1 point. So if they can win 1 point on the high pair and still win super total, they win. But that's a tough road to go. Buffkin has really struggled. Can he find one shot here? He does. That's huge. That's huge. That's a double.
Yep. All right, so Denham Springs, let's look at it this way. Denham Springs won over 3 games, won the low pair by 72. Okay? Brother Martin right now with a 76-pin lead in total.
Inky almost carried.
That was with
Here's
the shot.
Another big shot right here for Brother Martin. He pulled it badly.
It's going to cross.
No, he pulled it badly. So that's a big miss there. They needed a strike in that situation. Again, the 31 margin on the left lane means on the left pair means Brother Martin has to win by at least 7 pins on the right pair and win a match. And that's a miss. That's going to really hurt Brother Martin. Critical miss. Inky a conversion. So Denham Springs picks up 11 pins there. And now match number 2 is in play. And if Brother Martin doesn't win that match, Denham Springs is going to win the championship. Through the nose and an 8 count. So Denham Springs sitting pretty in number 6 too. So for Brother Martin, they've got to win at 2, and they need
five,
pins.
at number 5, and yeah, they've got
number 5. I said 2, number 5, and they need pins badly.
Yeah.
And right now, Denham Springs is in a good position because they haven't had 2 bowlers. They haven't bowled yet in the 9th frame.
Yeah, they have stayed behind. They've bowled at a slower pace.
You know, people yelling when people are about to bowl.
Exactly.
I mean, this, ridiculous, man. Able to convert. And now Null, who's been really good, and Davis, who's been good, with a chance to maybe win a state championship for Denham Springs. It's Brady Null taking his time. Can't make a better shot than that.
That's a great shot.
Cannot make a better shot than that. Super shot by Null, and it also sets up the 10th frame.
It does.
Here's Davis on a double. This could really swing the match to Denham Springs.
Very big shot here.
Gave it room. And crushed it. Denham Springs closing in.
So right now, let's look at it here. Denham Springs has 4 marks working. Brother Martin has 3. Denham Springs is up by 23 right here. So that is really 33.
It's really 33, and the margin on the other line is 31. So Brother Martin needs a miracle here.
Right.
They're going to have to make up 40 pins in 1 frame, basically.
It's got to start right here. You got an opportunity to gain 20 with Bo Buffkin coming up on the right lane.
Where's Icky? Yellow Jackets are bowling like champions in the clutch. Now Buffkin is Brother Martin's last chance.
Yeah, these are two must shots right here to try to cut 20 pins.
If Buffkin doesn't strike here, Denham Springs is on its way to a state championship. Gave it room. Keeps his team alive. You got to give him credit. He had struggled much of the game, but he's fought back.
Figured it out.
Now Iki, if he can throw another one, can really slam the door. He gave it room. Good-looking shot. Perfect shot. Just perfect. Dead solid perfect.
They are making shots when they have to have them. You tip your hat.
Enormous credit to Denham Springs. Buffkin must strike here. Buffkin pulls that one. Not close. So Denham Springs is sitting pretty here. Sitting pretty to win this state championship here. In a perfect position now. And now Iki can just look for pin count here, if not strike again, the way he's bowled. Looking for 200. He gives it a lot of room, and he got it back. What a finish by Iki. Terrific bowling by John Iki. 2-0-2 game. And coming through in the clutch. Fantastic performance. Buffkin able to convert. So he finished well after struggling early. But another win for Denham Springs. And right now the pin's just adding up for Denham Springs clearly. I think we can pretty much call it at this point.
There's still room, but the leash is getting very short.
Vollenwater strikes to try to keep whatever faint hopes are alive for Brother Martin. I mean, you do the math. The only way Brother Martin can do this here is if they get open frames.
Yeah, you need help. You can't win it. You can't win it yourself.
You can strike out; it won't matter if the other side is able to mark.
Exactly, and you can only gain really 20 pins on the edge.
That's right.
That's it, because you're not on.
You're not on anything. Correct. And Vollenwater can't do it, so this is pretty much a done deal for Denham Springs to win the Division I state championship in 2024 near its home. Just a fantastic performance by this team. Remember, this team was down 7-1 and 131 pins. Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yep.
Solid performance by Vollenwater, just 207. Not going to be enough. Bruce Himbert knows he's doing the math. Denham Springs low pit was just huge. 200 games again in this past game, and they win their match over there. Overall total pins and won a couple of matches there that made a huge difference. Gilder throws a strike. Now no can deliver the end shot right here. So
Let's go, Jake. Let's go, Jake. Let's go. Shut up.
It's okay.
It's okay. They're pulling for their fans. He deserves it.
both bowlers step off. Stone 9-pin. That just kind of sums it up there.
Yeah, that's done there.
That just sums it up. Just not Brother Martin's day and not their game in any way, shape, or form. Came out like a house of fire and took game 1 7-1, but it's been all Denham Springs since. And the Yellow Jackets poised to get done what nobody's been able to do for a long time.
Yeah. And you think about this run, you've got to go back now, 2017. Mm-hmm. There were no playoffs in 2020, so you're talking about 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. You're talking about, 28 consecutive wins in the playoffs.
Kids on
And
both
we're gonna
sides
see
have
that streak, and
kids
we're
have
gonna
been very, very sportsmanlike on both sides.
Yeah, and look, and
Really
you're
good to
trying
see.
You know, fans are trying to cheer, and it's, you know, and it's hard when people are, you know.
Well,
People they want to cheer for their team. Yeah.
There's a line to cross, and I mean clearly you want to cheer for your team, but
But
there's
you
a
can't.
place and a time when you see somebody and approach just about starting their approach. You got to show some courtesy.
Exactly.
I understand excitement, but you got to know the moment, and that applies to everybody, not singling out anyone.
No, it's
No for the conversion. Rowan Martin wins the match to give Brother Martin an 11th point, but that's going to be the extent of it. It's going to be the extent of it. It's going to be a 16-11 win for Denham Springs to win a state championship here. Lenny will talk to the winners coming up here shortly. And I guess we got to figure out who the MVP is, Lenny.
I'd be interested to see. I mean,
we gotta look at the
in my mind, what Pendergraft did in the second game and the string of strikes he put together in the third game, that's certainly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's no. $193 for no. Denham Springs has won the Division I state championship. That is
that's
evident,
the
very
margin
clear.
now. Yeah, you see the margin is already there. Even if two balls in the gutter, it's going to be the result.
You got to triple up, so you count the pins, and it's a done deal. And a good shot nonetheless. Well, never mind, maybe not. It's a good time for that, right?
You know, and that could have, you think about it now, it could have changed everything.
Yep. They've got enough margin here, so it doesn't matter.
The margin, it's
going to end up being closer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, now he's going to get something.
8 out. Denham Springs has enough, ladies and gentlemen, as the Denham Springs Yellow Jackets have rallied to win the Division I state championship 17-11. A tremendous performance by Denham Springs, coming back in games 2 and 3 against a team that's dominated this sport and against a team that had a higher average team on the season. The Denham Springs faithful expressed their enthusiasm, as well they should. So well done by the Yellow Jackets here as they've emerged victorious, winning this by the score of 16-11. 48 pins was the margin in game 3. So the margin of victory is 17 for Denham Springs. That's it.
That's
17.
It. 17 pins that's, look, what did we see a year ago?
16-11 by 17 pins. Yep. Yeah, 16-11 by 17 pins.
Remember a year ago, 2 years ago, it was 17-10 by 2 pins.
Yeah. Seen that before, right?
We've seen that before.
That literally was a match for the ages, and it ended up being 16-11, and the whole match was determined by 11 pins on total.
You should be happy. You should be able to cheer all you want.
So Denham Springs wins it. Amazing victory here. The celebration will ensue. We'll have a trophy presentation. We'll get Lenny out here in position to be able to talk to the winners here momentarily. I don't disagree with you about Pendergraft. I mean, I think you could pick 2 or 3 people, but I think when you look at the importance of Game 2 and how it changed this match, and even a good game in Game 3 at 202, for a 181 average bowler, much like the first championship today, it was the lower average bowler in a low pit that really produced the biggest.
Yeah, no question about that. And look, that's what it, and you look at the averages coming in, and look, this is, you look at what Noah Fontenot was a 173 average in the regular season. Pendergraft's a better bowler than 181. At one point last year, he was their number 6. So he's a better bowler than that. And this team got better as the postseason went along and delivered in a big way.
Continual improvement, showing what they're capable of. winning a much coveted state championship. Great sportsmanship on both sides. So your state champions, phenomenal performance. Denham Springs and Archbishop Shaw claiming championships here today. On the boys' side, or the co-ed side of the LHSAA. Just a splendid job on the part of Denham Springs to win this here this afternoon. Today's coverage on Crescent City Sports brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company. Lamarck has a brand new location at 6121 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Lamarck Crescent City Ford Trucks. And we can't wait to see you there. So presentation about to be made. Brother Martin getting recognized first as runner-up. Getting applauded as they will receive their medals and their runner-up trophy to bring back to Gentilly. Look at the Brother Martin games in Game 3. Didn't have a bad game, just didn't have a real good game. And that was the difference. They could have found a way to have that one game that could have been 220s or better, which typically they have, would have had a chance. But that's a lot of ifs. The credit is all to Denham Springs. They earned this victory. Again, coming back from 7-1 down to be able to emerge victorious here to win a state championship and take it away from a team that's dominated this sport for the last several years. Brother Martin, a young team. They've only got one senior, Jacob Van Gelder. The rest of their team will all be back next year. Very impressive. Denham Springs, 3 senior starters, and you know it's got to mean a lot to them for those seniors to come here and emerge victorious in their final opportunity representing their school. Not too far away from where we're at in Gonzales, this region. And now we're getting the MVP announcement.
He has 181 average. He averaged 212. He had a 178, a 255, a 205.
Grant Pendergraft, the MVP, as we surmised. He receives that honor. It just goes to show you this is the ultimate team sport. You have the lowest average bowler for Archbishop Shaw as the MVP. You have the second lowest average bowler for Denham Springs as the MVP. So it tells you a lot about the nature of this sport. You got individuals who do wonderful things, and you got teams who do wonderful things as well.
Get your gold medals, and then also we have a gift for the coach.
So now you'll get the medals and the championship trophy presentation for Mike Federico of the LHSAA, along with Vince Cassiopo, the Yellow Jackets of Denham Springs. Great victory for Denham Springs here this afternoon. Players, coaches, everyone gathering as we speak, and when they're done with this, we'll have the winning coach for you. And I will also have Grant Pendergraft, the MVP, for you. Here from Premier Lanes in Gonzales, Louisiana. The LHSAA State Bowling Championships. Someday here, some 2 days, and there's another day left to come with the singles championships to be decided tomorrow, which will be at Baton Rouge, All-Star Lanes. At that center, for the individuals, now the champions will get their shirts from the LHSA. That's the tradition that we see all the time.
On 1 to 20, we have leagues that'll be starting later, and I can give you about 20 minutes or so in here to celebrate.
So the celebration will take place soon. We'll get Lenny to get in place to be able to deliver the winners here.
I appreciate y'all's patience and everything. Kim and everybody, congratulations.
So Kim Bogan, Adam White, what a job. What a job indeed by this program to put themselves in this position to win.
Dennis Frank is also the general manager of All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge. Well, we'll be hosting the singles event tomorrow.
So announcing the singles event tomorrow, as we spoke of previously.
130-something athletes competing for state singles.
And a whole bunch of the best bowlers in the state will be competing for the singles championship tomorrow. And we sure do look forward to that. All right, we'll get the microphones and we'll get Lenny in place to get the winners here. A couple more pictures taking place. And then we'll run them over. I mean, the smiles all around. You understand the euphoric nature here of these individuals and this team. What a wonderful accomplishment for the Denham Springs Yellow Jackets. As we'll get everybody in place here. They're still celebrating the championship. Okay, we're getting them in place now. So here we go. Grant Pendergraft making his way over. Adam White as well. And Lenny, you can, after the hug, and you can take it away as you guys can face the camera. Take it away, Lenny.
Right this way, Coach. Congratulations. This has been a long time coming for Denham Springs. I know a lot of success in the girls program, but to win this state championship after, trying to get back to the semis for, so many years here, and a lot of tight matches. That quarterfinal match, I know, probably helped, prepare this team for what they were able to do here this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is a testament to our young men and the dedication they've had to this program, and some of them being first-year guys, and also some, everything in between for four-year guys. And I can tell you, it's truly been an honor, blessing, and privilege. Thank God every day for the opportunity to watch them continue to grow as young men, more importantly, and to learn through perseverance, through trials, tribulations. And to me, this is why you play sports.
Yes.
I mean, this was, you couldn't script a better game and match of those three games that we just had, Brother Martin. Obviously, testament to their program as well, and a program of upstanding class and integrity, and to play to that standard has truly been remarkable to watch.
You were down early, 7-1, over 100 pins. What did you tell your team after the first game?
Well, I think, ironically, that was the opposite of what we've been playing. Most of the time we've been up in the beginning and then end up having tapering at the end. But to me, it was a testament to these guys to figure out how to raise their standard and realize that this is just like any other game. To let the moment be bigger than them, and also be mindful of the fact that there's nothing more we ever needed. All we needed was what we had and the group that we had, no more, no less. And so can't be more proud of them for that.
What about the performance of this guy, your MVP?
Hey, there ain't much else to say. I mean, it is what it is. The scoreboard said what it was, and I think he's earned it more than anybody here. I can straight up give a testament to that, and I know Coach Eunice can also, and everybody else can too. And his brothers out here are more proud than anybody for him. So.
Yeah, Coach, congratulations. And Grant, just talk about what this team needed to do and how it rebounded. I know you really kind of got things started there in the second game with that big 250.
Yeah, I mean, we just got the momentum and we just ran with it. That's all we had to do.
This is a game of momentum. I mean, there is no defense, but you can ride strike after strike and feed off your crowd and do those kind of things, which, there is no defense. It's not like you could go up and, block a shot or change something. So just how important is it to feed off your teammates in a situation like that, and how much did you do that today?
I mean, every shot. I mean, that's all you can do. Just hope your teammates are supporting you, and they were today.
A first-time champion on the boys' side for Denham Springs, the 2024 Division I state champions. Congratulations to the Yellow Jackets. Ken, back to you.
Thank you very much, Lenny. Great job. Congratulations to a terrific young man who did a great job, Grant Pendergraft. Congratulations to Adam White, Kim Bogan, and the entire staff at Denham Springs High School. The Yellow Jackets are the state champions. Congratulations to Brother Martin for another great run to get here. And congratulations to Archbishop Rummel and Slidell for making good runs to get to the semifinals as well here in Division I. It was a really good day, and it was a really good match here in Division I to decide the state championship. And ultimately, Denham Springs came through in huge fashion with everything on the line and performed great to win this. And they did win it, no doubt about it. Yellow Jackets earned it. They are the state champions. And what a wonderful job, honey, by the Denham Springs Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They won it. 35-42 team series. Brother Martin finishes with 35-19. So I guess 23 pins the official.
23 officially.
Yeah, 23. But look, it's, you could point to a number of things. I think, you go back to, as we talked about there, kind of that second game is when things started to swing a little bit, and Brother Martin still had the lead after two, along with that 9-7 margin. But remember what we saw yesterday in that Dutchtown Chappelle match. The 10th frame of the second game is when things started to swing Dutchtown's way. It could have been a bigger lead for Chappelle heading into game 3, but Dutchtown was able to kind of minimize it with a big 10th frame and just rode that momentum all the way to the finish in the state championship. And it's not unlike what we saw today, just a little bit different script.
Very much so. And again, congratulations to Archbishop Shaw for winning the Division II state championship. Dutchtown, you mentioned, on the girls' side, and Denham Springs on the co-ed side here. It's been a fantastic state championship run here at Premier Lanes and Gonzales. One more to go. That's the singles tomorrow in Baton Rouge.
Yep, and we will have it all for you starting at 1:20. First ball at 1:30. They will have, I think it's 129 bowlers that are going to try to qualify to reach the top 6 on the boys and girls side, and we'll take you all the way through the step ladder finals.
Been a blast, Lenny. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate you being here.
Well, thanks to Todd. Thanks to Matt as well. Thanks for joining us for our coverage of the 3-team finals of the Oxnard LHSAA Bowling Championships tomorrow. On Crescent City Sports, we'll have live coverage of the singles finals from Baton Rouge beginning at 1:20 p.m. For our outstanding Crescent City Sports production team, for Lenny Van Gelder, I'm Ken Trahan saying thanks for joining us and be a good sport, and God bless you one and all. Rounding third and heading home, so long, where Denham Springs is the 2024 LHSAA Co-ed Division I state champion.